Okay, good morning, everyone. Going to be talking here shortly about solutions for embedded for RISC-V, specifically from a SiFive perspective. So my name's Ronco. So I run product management and marketing for SiFive, and I'm based in Cambridge in the UK. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is kind of like why is the industry embracing RISC-V? And fundamentally, this is about freedom. This is about freedom to innovate, freedom to choose, and the ability to do different things. If you've decided to build your technology roadmap around a legacy instruction set controlled by a single company, and then if that company decides that they're no longer going to invest in that product line, then you are literally up a creek without a paddle at that point. You don't have choices. Whereas with RISC-V, because it's an open standard, fundamentally you will always have choices. You will always have different options in terms of how you can innovate and how you can move the technology on. And yes, there are individual RISC-V CPUs that are better than the alternatives from competition, and they're better for all sorts of different reasons. But fundamentally, the long-term reason why the industry is embracing RISC-V is that freedom to innovate. Now, SiFive ourselves, so we were founded 10 years ago. We were founded by the guys who created RISC-V at Berkeley, and they created RISC-V as an open standard, but they wanted to create SiFive as a company to commercialize technology, CPU and other technology based on the RISC-V standard. We are the largest team building RISC-V CPUs in the world and have had the largest investment cumulatively over our 10 years. And our goal is really just to be that kind of gold standard, providing CPU technologies across a range of different points. We've had over 400 design wins from a range of different companies in many, many different markets, and billions of chips have shipped in the field. So there's lots and lots of different companies that are working with us in all sorts of different markets. And then, yeah, and there's lots of product shipping, as I say, there's billions of product shipping. And just to give you an example, so this is my phone, my new phone, which is a Samsung Galaxy. This has multiple chips and multiple different SiFive cores inside it. So this is already happening. This is real. As I say, there's billions of devices that are now shipping with SiFive cores inside, and billions more with other RISC-V cores from other companies. And as I say, SiFive's goal is to be the gold standard in RISC-V. And from a product's point of view, we are looking to provide products across a range of different performance points. So we're here at Embedded World in Nuremberg. So obviously embedded is a huge part of what we do. And we have a wide range of different products, 32-bit, 64-bit, real-time with Linux support as well, covering a wide range of different embedded use cases. We also have our performance cores. And these are our higher performance out-of-order cores, used for application processors, but also used in various embedded use cases as well. And then lastly, we have our intelligence products. So we have a range of products that are being used for AI compute. A lot of these rely heavily on the RISC-V vectors, and we have a number of different products that we supply to customers who are trying to build AI specialized compute. So as I say, SiFive, our goal is to be the gold standard, providing CPU options across this full portfolio range. We have this broadest range of not only the CPU IP, but all of the system IP that you build around it in order to build a system. It's important to note that our products are highly configurable. Many, many different options that customers have in terms of how they want to configure that CPU and how they want to integrate it into their system, really kind of delivering limitless possibilities. And we also have very broad software support. So from a SiFive point of view, we have a large number of software engineers in-house, so every customer receives a comprehensive delivery of software. But we also rely very heavily on the vast ecosystem that is building around RISC-V, both in terms of proprietary software and in terms of open source software as well. So if we specifically look at what's happening in embedded, in the embedded world is fast changing in terms of the applications and the use cases that we're seeing. You've got the kind of what we call the traditional requirements on the left in terms of sort of low power, real-time response, being able to program easily. These are not going away at all. But as these embedded devices become more connected and more smart, we're having a range of other requirements that people are having to build into their chips. Whether that is for AI compute, whether it's for just any other types of things that they're doing, the security, the reliability you have, there's a wide range of different devices, different demands that are being placed on customers' devices. And so what you need to have many, many choices, many, many options, and the ability to build whatever chip, whatever SoC that you want to build to meet the particular demands of the embedded space. And from a SiFive point of view, this is our essential portfolio. So this is the family of products that we have been working on for 10 years. We released last year the 4th generation of these products. And we're already working on the 5th generation. We're engaged with lead customers on that. And we expect to make early releases of those this year to various customers. We have this full portfolio, say, range of 32-bit real-time, 64-bit real-time, and 64-bit with MMU support running Linux. From a very small end, like the E2, all the way up to the U7, which is a sort of a dual issue, low range apps processor, so high performance for embedded, but low range apps processor. So these are these 8 products, but as I mentioned before, highly configurable, many, many, many options. So more than you would get from a typical legacy IP provider. There are more options you have here in terms of how these are configured, both within the core, but also connections into the system. So whatever it is you're trying to build from an SoC point of view, we're trying to give you more options in terms of what you're building with your products. And then, as I mentioned, the 4th generation we released last year. This had a whole load of improvements across the whole range. So we refreshed all 8 of the products that I just showed you. Lots of different things going into it. So one of them was better performance, particularly around the caches and the memory system, but also giving better code density. Some significant reductions in power, which is obviously incredibly important for the embedded market. Various new features. Within the RISC-V world, there are lots of different ISA extensions. There's lots of different standard profiles that can be built. So we've added a lot of these capabilities to these products. And then the last one, as I say, is around interfaces in terms of how these CPUs are integrated into the SoC, which is super important, because ultimately you can debate about the specific, like a standard benchmark performance of the core, but what matters is how your workload works in your setup in terms of what you're trying to do, and therefore how the core interfaces into the system and what's the things you can build around it is what really matters. Now, all of these improvements were driven by existing customers' feedback to us, telling us what they wanted to see. And that's the way we basically are building these things, and the way we're continuing to evolve and continuing to invest in this space. As I say, we think this is very important, and it's a space that is very important to SiFive. A lot of our customers are here. So we're continuing to invest and improve and add features for these product lines going forward. I mentioned software earlier. So as I say, a big chunk of the engineering team are at SiFive work in software. And with every customer, we deliver a whole range of different products, a bundle of things. So we provide kind of an IDE environment, we provide a whole tool chain, we provide some optimized performance libraries to help customers get the best out of it. We provide a package of software both for bare metal and for Linux. And we also provide a whole load of models that enable our customers to sort of develop and simulate the system and develop the software in different ways. So the whole software product proposition that we provide is an important part of our offering. But it's not just about us. The whole benefit of having the open standard is to have a vibrant ecosystem around it. And we're seeing the software ecosystem around RISC-V growing really, really rapidly. There's some really exciting things happening. It's really picking up in terms of all the different activities that are happening, both from the kind of like the low end real time all the way through to the high performance compute of kind of like server class applications as well. This is both happening from independent companies, but also through open source as well. I mentioned that shown on the slide here is the RISE Foundation. So RISE, I'm a board member of that. And that's been going nearly 2 years. That was founded by some key people you can see at the bottom of this slide who really wanted to accelerate the development of open source software around RISC-V for high performance applications like Android and server. And that's making some really good progress in making sure that RISC-V is a first class citizen within software distributions, within different open source projects. And that's really exciting progress that's being made there. Linked to that, and one of the reasons why we're starting to see more progress for the higher performance software, the Linux-based systems, is the availability of hardware. We released the HiFive Premier P550 last year. that is now available, and that's been really well received. And I think what's really exciting about it for me is that we've had a number of software vendors that have come to us and said they see this and they're now saying, okay, RISC-V is now real, it's now able to deliver high performance at good quality, and therefore they want to increase their investment. So a whole range of players, both from, as I say, independent software vendors and open source communities, are increasing their investment as software, driven by the availability of hardware like the SiFive Premier P550. And cheeky plug, you can buy it. It is available now. Here is some of the initial press reviews that we had. So we're really pleased with the reception we've had from the developer community. It is shipping now with Ubuntu pre-installed. So very close relationship with Canonical to make sure that everything just works out of the box. So if you'd like one, please go and buy one. And it's not just the SiFive P550. We have a range of other boards that are built based on SiFive cores at a range of different performance points. And there's lots more that are going to be coming over the coming weeks and months. And there's a whole range of these that are on display in the corner there over on the RISC-V stand. Okay, so that was a pretty quick view of what's happening with SiFive and embedded. RISC-V is really happening. I think this is the key thing to take away. It's really a question of when, not an if, and there's real momentum behind the industry. As I mentioned at the beginning, there's an agreement that the world needs an open standard, and legacy ISAs are no longer investing in this space. And so the future of embedded is very much RISC-V, and SiFive is intending to very much continue to lead this space, continue to have the broadest and the most mature portfolio of products. We've already shipped our 4th generation. We're about to ship the 5th generation this year. We're engaged with lead partners on that. And that's all backed up by this growing and robust software ecosystem and community. So yeah, very happy to take questions and then have conversations afterwards more about how SiFive can help with your embedded products. So thank you very much.